Manpower recruitment. When we say manpower recruitment means it is the number of employees that needed to operate the company or businesses. And according to the book, manpower, personnel, or laborer should be listed accordingly, from the managerial position, supervisory position to the staff or workforce needed in the operation of the business. Like, for example, kung magtatayo ka ng business, you need to hire an employee or manpower to operate it. Like, for example, kung restaurant yung ipapatayo mo, of course, in order to make a profit at mapatakbo yun, you need a cook who will cook all the dishes, a manager who will manage the business, a cashier, crew, and etc. But of course, hindi lang pwede na mag-hire lang na mag-hire kahit sino. Those employees that needed in your business should have a requirement that they should meet to fill the position that they are applying for. So here are the qualification standards that an employee should meet. We have a 3 qualification standards here, and these are manpower, experience, and academics. Manpower refers to the personality required to a worker, his traits, manners, values, the way he talks, his appearance, and the overall physical representation of the applicant. Um, for instance, if you are going to apply as a manager for a business, you should have the traits and manners of being a leader, because being a manager, you are going to manage and guide some employees under you. And aside from that, you should also have a communication skills. We know how important communication skills is in work, because these skills will serve as the bridge between you and the employee, or between you and the company. The next one is the way the employee talks and its appearance. And as a manager, kailangan na maging formal magsalita in all circumstances, especially kung may problem na mag-occur between customer. You should know how to handle that kind of situation. And the appearance, we all know how important physical appearance is, kasi sometimes yung mga nagiging basis ng mga tao to know if the person is karespeto or if he or she working in a higher position. So, if you are an employee in a company, business, or institution, you should always dress accordingly. The next one is experience. Experience refers to the length of working experience in relation to the job criteria that a worker applies for. Bakit nga ba or mahalaga yung experience ng isang applicant o ng employee before siya ma-hire sa isang company? I'll give you an example regarding this. So, I have this friend who works in a BPO company, and that company daw is hindi sila tumatanggap ng applicant na wala pang experience sa BPO. So, kung gusto mo mag-apply doon, you should have at least 6 months experience in other BPO company. Bakit? Bakit kaya nila ginagawa ito? Kasi with applicant who had already experience, hindi sila mahihirapan na i-train pa ito from the basic knowledge, and also they can put that applicant to the department kung saan na mas kailangan nila ng manpower. So, it also gives them a benefit and convenience. And the last qualification standard is the academics. Academics refers to the worker's academic qualifications or educational attainment required performing the job better. Why educational attainment is important before hiring an applicant? These academics that the applicant has will be his strong foundation para sa position na i-apply niya. If you're going to apply as a manager, of course, kailangan tapos ka ng 4 years sa college with the course of connected in managing. Kasi kung tapos ka sa course na connected sa ina-applyan mo, and if you have a knowledge, doon, it means that you are qualified in that position. Also, educational attainment is really important talaga, kasi kapag hire sa isang company, usually hindi ka agad napupunta sa mataas na position, and there is circumstances na pwede ka lang ma-promote kung ikaw ay tapos ng 4 years sa college and yung position na ibibigay sa'yo is aligned with your course.
Let's proceed to the next topic, which is steps in coming up with the criteria for selecting applicants. So I'm going to tackle the process that needs to be done. This topic is about determining the key qualifications for selecting applicants that must be possessed in order to be considered in the position. The number one step is list down all the different activities that have to be done in the business. Group this according to the four functional areas of management. This is the initial step or the first step in coming up with the criteria for selecting applicants. It involves understanding the nature of the business and the task that needs to be done. This phase is also essential for determining the position that needs to be filled and the qualifications needed to fill those position. Meron tayong tinatawag ditong four functional areas and nahahati siya sa apat, which are the marketing, production, finance, and the administration. Dito sa marketing, ito yung area na involve yung mga activities related sa promoting and selling. So, kapag magsaselect ka ng applicants, kailangan i-consider mo yung mga skills nila when it comes to communication, pagdating sa creativity, and dapat knowledgeable sila pagdating sa marketing strategy. And the second one is the production. Dito naman sa area ng production, involved dito yung creation of product and services or yung pag-turn ng mga input into finished goods. So, kapag magsaselect ka ng mga applicants regarding dito sa position na to, kailangan meron silang skills and experience relevant doon sa role na hinahanap. For example, yung mga knowledgeable when it comes to software and when it comes to machinery. And the third one is the finance. Dito sa finance, involved dito yung area na pag-handle ng money when it comes to business. So, kapag mag-hire ka ng applicants, kailangan may mga experience din sila when it comes to handling the money of the company. For example, dyan yung mga nagpe-payroll, yung mga bookkeepers, and then etc. The fourth one is the administration. When it comes to this area, it involves the coordination of all tasks that enables the company to function effectively. Dito kasi sa administration, sila yung nagpo-provide ng support and sila yung nag-i-ensure na dapat smooth yung magiging operation ng isang company. So, by grouping the task according to the functional areas na binanggit ko kanina, makakapag-create yung hiring team or yung company ng more specific and relevant selection criteria. And by doing this, makakapag-ensure sila na yung applicants na isa-select nila is hindi lang qualified, kundi fit din sa role na hinahanap ng isang company. And then the second step is, in the list of activities, it should exclude the list that will be taken by the owners. The task should be translated into job designations or position titles. This means that when creating a list of activities or tasks that need to be assigned, it should exclude the task of the owners. Kasi, karamihan sa mga tasks na yon is more strategic na or nasa different levels na dapat owners lang yung need na mag-take ng responsibility for that. And then the second one is, it also explains that once the list of task is created, each task should be associated to the specific job designations or sinasabi natin nilang position title ng isang tao sa isang company. Kasi makatutulong to sa individual na mas maintindihan nila yung task and yung role or yung responsibility nila sa isang company or within the organization. And the third step is list the entire qualification requirement for every position in terms of education, training, and etc. This third step is referring to the process of defining the qualifications for each job position within the organization, like yung sinasabi nga sa third step na education, training, and etc. And pagdating naman sa qualification ng bawat position, need naka-clearly defined and communicated yun sa job description kasi dito mas maiintindihan ng candidates or ng applicants kung fit ba talaga sila sa role na hinahanap ng isang company, and it also helps the hiring team to screen and select applicants effectively. And that's all for the second topic. Let's proceed to the next reporter.
Hi, good day everyone. Since Miss Gaspar done with her topic, now let's proceed from my topic. And this topic is really important, especially if you're an entrepreneur or business. If you are, if you have a business, because this topic they call it as three M's. They include including the machine, methods, and materials. Um, First, let's talk about the machine. Machine identifying plant size, machinery, and equipment requires detailed specification including function and units required. Coordinate with manufacturers or suppliers to consider economical equipment size, know machine origin and country of origin, clarify sales, service availability, and spare parts availability, state delivery schedule, payment terms, and utilities connection, implication, specification include general technical description, usually with an engineer help. Again, the machinery is used to can greatly influence the quality and speed and cost production of your, uh, I mean, cost production, and also um, new machines can might be expensive, but it can lead to higher quality products through faster product, production time and ultimately increasing profit. And just like I said, you should know the machine origin and the or country of origin because some spare parts um really essential for proper maintenance of machinery. Because why it's essential? Because we wanted to avoid the breakdowns and ensure the smooth operations because breakdowns can lead to delays, loss reduction, and unhappy customers. Next is method. Method is manufacturing involves um, converting raw materials into a finished product with a clear sequence of operations, ensure consistency, plant size, and production schedule are determined based on projected demand with manufacturer consultants for detailed specification. Plant location is crucial for long-term business operations considering raw material sources, manpower, and utilities. A good plant layout and lower production costs with product-focused layout recommended for job shop operations and um, process-focused layout for continuous production. Building and infrastructure construction follow considering applicable codes, standards, and necessary permits. Again, the method is it can the way tasks are completed can have big impact on efficiency and cost especially in the business, should continuously evaluate and improve their production methods to identify and also eliminate waste. And also a method refers to a systematic way or procedure for accomplishing a specific task or achieving a particular goal to organize processes, solve problems, and achieve desired outcomes. A method typically includes a series of steps, techniques, or procedures that allow to achieve the desired result. Having a good quality control method ensures a consistent product quality. Um, this can help to reduce waste and also improve the customer satisfaction and build the brand reputation. Uh, Next is materials. Materials, utilities, waste disposal, and production costs are essential aspects of business operations. Materials include direct and indirect materials with specification and delivery schedules clearly stated. Utilities include power, water, gases, and steam. Waste disposal and treatment facilities are necessary to protect the environment. Production costs combines direct and overhead expenses. and product markup or profit is determined using cost-oriented, competition-oriented, and demand-oriented methods based on the company's position. Again, material is the cost of the quality of the cost and quality of the materials used directly affect the final product cost and quality. Businesses need to find a balance between using high quality materials and keeping costs under control. Because effective inventory management ensure there, ano, that there are enough materials on hand to meet production needs without um, overspending on stage or risking stock outs. And by considering these factors and optimizing them, business can achieve greater efficiency, improve product quality, and ultimately gain a pro- um, gain a competitive edge. Next topic is recruitment. It is a process of convincing or encouraging a prospective applicant to fill in a vacant position. Again, we have two steps in recruitment. First is job description. It defines the duties and responsibilities of a particular position. It is an essential part of hiring and managing your employees, and for job description should be particular, clear and accurate to effectively define your needs. For applicants and employee understand their roles and what they need to do to be held accountable. Again, for job description is a written document um, that outlines the duties, responsibilities, and the tasks and requirements of the specific job position. Within an organization, it provides a detailed overview of what the job entails, including the primary object and also the report um, key responsibilities, reporting relationships, and qualification needed to perform the job successfully. And again, job descriptions are used to communicate expectations to employees and attract the qualified qualified candidates during the recruitment process. Process ano, process guide performance evaluation and serve as a basis for a job analysis and job design within an organization. Next is job specification. It gives a specific qualification required for a position such as type of experience needed for the job, special training, skills and physical demands, special abilities, aptitude, age, physical, a physical qualification, other requirements. Where job specifications are also known as a job requirement or employee specification is a detailed outline of the qualifications, skills, knowledge, experience, and personal attributes required for a specific job position. Job specification provides specific criteria that candidates must meet to be considered for the job and are used in the recruitment and selection process to evaluate candidates' suitability for the role. Job specification can also help the HR professionals um, to hiring managers and also define the ideal candidate for the job, assesses assesses candidates' qualification and fit for the role, and make informed hiring decisions based on the objective criteria. Job specifications are useful for creating job postings, conducting interviews, and also ensuring alignment between the job requirements and candidate qualifications. Next is requisition of new employee. A formal requisition form is required indicating the position to be filled, date needed, qualification, and other requirements needed for an applicant. Requisition of new employee. When an organization needs to hire a new employee, they typically initiate a process known as an employee requisition. This is the formal request made by a department or manager within the organization to the HR or recruitment team to fill specific job opening. Tapos yung mga employer requisition, may several steps involved sila. Katulad na lang ng identifying the need of description, approval process, and so on and so on. And again, we have two sources of applicants now. First the internal and last is the external. Internal employees recruited within the company. The internal internal sources of applicants refer to existing employees within the organization who are considered for job vacancies before external recruitment is conducted. Some common internal sources of applicant include promotion, employee referrals, talent database. Next is external. External applicants recruited through advertisement, referrals, placement, agency, and etc. External sources of applicants refer to individuals outside the organization who are potential candidates for job openings. Common sources of applicants include job boards and career websites, recruitment agencies, networking events, and educational institutions. Thank you.
Hi, good day everyone. I'm Winalyn Sherda and my topic was all about the selection process. So let's start first in identifying what is selection. So when we say selection, it is a process wherein the organization or the company carefully choose an applicant who's most suitable for the job. So we have 8 steps in selection. The first one is reception of applicants. So dito sa reception of applicants, it involves screening of applicants or an evaluation kung saan yung resumes ng mga applicants will be reviewed and also they will undergo on an interview to collect initial information about them in order to make a short list of candidates that can move forward to the preliminary interview. The second is preliminary interview. So dito na chine-check if qualified ba yung applicant for the said position. And yung mga applicants na hindi qualified for the said position is ma-eliminate na or hindi na makaka-proceed sa next step ng selection process. The third step is filing out of application form. So, application form serves as a guide sa pag-interview ng applicants to determine if nagmamatch ba yung applicant sa hinahanap na requirements ng company. And also, yung application form, it serves as a basis para ma-check yung other information ng applicants such as the applicant's school record, the applicant's former employees, and the applicant's references. let's move to the fourth step, which is the employment test. So, the employment test, it is a test that was given para masukat yung abilities ng applicant na kinakailangan for the specific position. Kinakailangan para dun sa position na ina-applyan. Number 5, final interview by immediate supervisor or department head. So, after ng employment test, the applicants will go through final interview para malaman who among the applicants yung fitted para sa position. Sino ba dun sa mga applicants na yun yung fitted para sa position na yun? The sixth step is physical and medical examination. So, mali po yung nakasulat dito, hindi siya dapat physical examination, dapat medical examination siya. So, medical examination. So, why do applicants need to take a medical examination? Applicants needed to take a medical examination to determine if they are fitted to work. Para malaman if may sakit pa or wala yung applicant. Kasi, if ever na may sakit yung applicant na yon, is nagsasuffer sa isang health condition, ganun. Pwedeng maka-affect yun sa magiging performance niya sa work. Pre-employment test. So, pre-employment test is important kasi para malaman or makuha yung mga important information ng applicants. 7 is hiring. So, after those 6 steps, dito na magde-decide yung organization or yung company if sino yung i-hire for the specific position. And yung mga makakapasa sa selection will be sent to the Human Resource Department para sa completion ng hiring process. So, the last step is orientation. So, yung mga na-hired na applicants will go to an orientation or will be oriented about the company's policies or company's rules and regulation, kung ano ba yung mga do's and don'ts, mga hindi pwede at pwedeng gawin inside the company. So again, we have 8 steps in selection, which is the reception of applicants, the first one. Second, preliminary interview. Third is filing out of application form. Number 4 is employment test. 5, final interview by immediate supervisor or department head. The sixth one is physical and medical examination. Number 7 is hiring. And number 8 is orientation. So that was all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, sir. I am the next reporter. Training or retaining. Training is a must for new hires in order to support them in doing their jobs well. Dito sa training or retaining, ito yung mga karaniwang tumutukoy sa pagsasali sa trabaho. Halimbawa na lang dito kapag nagtatrabaho, ay kapag nag-a-apply tayo, 'di ba? Tapos natanggap tayo. Meron silang tinatawag na training. Para saan nga ba yung training? Yung training, yun yung kinakailangan natin para malaman natin kung ano yung mga proseso na ginagawa sa loob ng company o sa loob ng isang trabaho na papasukan natin. Para bago tayo magsimula, may idea na tayo at alam na natin yung ginagawa natin at para ma-enhance din natin yung new skills natin na tinatawag. Compensation. This section includes the staff members' compensation according to their qualification. The next step is to put that compensation into monetary terms. When we say compensation, ito yung mga benefit na natatanggap natin sa company bilang employees. Halimbawa na lang dito yung mga bonuses, sick leave, maternity leave. Halimbawa na lang dito kapag yung maternity leave, kahit na umabsent tayo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung pagpapasahod sa atin ng government. Kasi nga, isa yun sa benefit na natatanggap natin bilang employee. Na kailangan, syempre, kailangan bilang employee, may mga benefit din tayo na natatanggap. Lalo sa mga government. Ito malaki rin siya, malaking tulong din siya sa mga employee. Establishing the pay structure, this entails setting compensation scales or ranges that align with the points, ranking, or categories determined by the means of work appraisal. Dito, ito yung mga depende sa trabaho na magkano yung kinikita. Halimbawa na lang kapag cashier ka, 'di ba, minimum wage lang yung sasahurin mo. Kapag naman mga sa company ka or mga bossing ka, auditor or mga any kind ng ranking sa posisyon, ine-expect natin na lalo mataas yung sahod nila. Yung dun pumapasok yung establishing the pay structure. Ito yung mga depende sa trabaho or ranking kung magkano yung sinasahod nila. Organizational policy, when we say organizational policy, ito yung mga policy sa isang government, sa isang trabaho or kahit na anong uri ng trabaho. Halimbawa na lang sa government. Kapag nagtatrabaho ka sa government, meron silang mga policy, di ba? Halimbawa na lang dito yung mga benefits, mga pay, kung magkano yung dapat sasahurin, kung kailan ka sasahod, kung sa mga formal attire, sa mga kasuotan, yun dapat doon nasusunod yung policy na nakalagay doon sa isang government. Kasi mahalaga yun na may organizational policy para nasusunod natin at para malaman natin kung ano yung mga dapat na meron o yung mga bawal na dapat gawin.
Good day everyone, I am Jesseline Ibrahan and I am the assigned reporter to discuss about the company manuals, company code of discipline, and the business model. So let's first tackle about the company manual. So what is company manual? So it is an important communication tool between an employee and employer. So it gives employee a clear understanding of their responsibilities and serves as a guide for them in carrying out their jobs. It also includes company policies and procedures, labor laws with which the employee must comply, and other benefits and rights of employee. Additionally, the entrepreneur um, has to operate by equal employment opportunity laws that forbid discriminations and harassment, to give a strong foundation of knowledge, save time, and provide consistent rules and guidelines for everyone. Code of discipline. So, this is the set of rules and regulations stated are important to achieve total efficiency and a harmonious relationship within the company. So, discipline is a key factor in any business undertaking. It promotes greater efficiency in business operations, create a general conditions of their orderliness conducive to greater manpower productivity, reinforces the moral dignity of employees, and the most of all enhances company prestige. So, regardless of the size of your company, having a well-defined written code behaviors is crucial for a number of reasons. First, it creates a strong, morally driven culture. Um, so, company code of discipline, it helps the workers understand what is expected of them and gives structure. It encourages equity, justice, and order in the way that employer and employee interacts are conducted. So the code also outlines the employee's rights under the formal system. of the company, such as the ability to appeal and an explanation of any disciplinary action. Business model, it describes how the business will generate revenue and support financial projections. So as you can see on the graph, there is an offline, online, and marketing strategies. So sa offline, there is three under, which is the target market, location, and the transaction. So, sa offline, ang pwede natin example dyan, kunyari, ang example natin sa target market is students within KPN. So, target market natin, students within KPN. And then, yung location natin, yung di ba, target market natin is students within KPN. So, ang magiging location natin, like, sabihin na natin, La Concepcion College students, kasi yun lang yun, medyo malapit na school within KPN, or the KPN Elementary School. So, pag sa offline, ang magiging transaction natin is personal selling, kasi offline siya. So, sa online naman, ganun pa rin naman yung target natin, yung location, same with the offline. Ang maiiba lang yung transaction. So, since online na siya, ang magiging transaction na natin is through online selling. Like, online selling through marketplace, Facebook, websites, and etc. through na online transaction. So, next tayo sa marketing strategies. So, mayroon na tayong target market, may location na tayo, and may mode of transaction na tayo. So, ang magiging marketing strategies natin, so, una dyan is product. So, ano ba yung pinibenta natin? So, example na lang natin is foods, like foods, mga budget meal foods, and drinks. So, yung price, an example ko dito is, cost plus pricing, which is cost plus pricing is a pricing strategy by which the selling price of a product is determined by adding a specific fixed percentage or a markup to the product unit cost. Essentially, the markup percentage is a method of generating a particular desired rate of return. So, cost plus pricing yung ginamit ko para sa product natin. So, yung place is yung store location natin, kung saan nakatayo yung tindahan natin, and then website, since meron tayong online. So, business model explains how business will help the company to accomplish their objectives. So, in its simplest form, a business model tells us about the target market of an organization, the needs of the market, and how the company goods and service will help to fill those needs. Thus, the process through which an organization modifies its business model is referred to as business model innovation. But both new and existing businesses need to have solid business models. They support emerging businesses in attracting capital, hiring skilled personnel, and inspiring leadership and employees. It is imperative for established or organization to periodically revise their business plans to ensure they remain ahead of emerging trends and problems. A business can reach its specific aims and objectives by using a business model, which helps to identify what needs to be done in order to have a better plan for business growth.
Legal requirements. This section explains the enlisting of the proponent's business for formal organization, which involves the following steps. First, bakit pa natin kailangan i-register sa government yung isang business? Syempre, nagbibigay ito ng benefits sa isang owner para magkaroon sila ng legal documents dun sa isang business, which is kailangan nila para makuha nila yung trust ng ng mga customers, or especially kapag meron silang mga investor. Syempre, kailangan nilang magpakita ng mga papeles na nagpapatunay na legal and sa kanila yung business na yun. First step is application for business registration.
Dito naman, kailangan mo nang i-register ng isang business owner or entrepreneur yung pangalan ng business niya. But hindi to isang lisensya or is permit para i-operate niya na or mag-start na siya dun sa business niya. Number 3, payment of filing fee, license fee, and registrations fees. Kasi may iba-ibang binabayaran, depende dun sa type ng business mo at saka sa government agency na pasok dun sa business mo. The government requires all enterprises of whatever size, type, and form of secure a permit before it can do a business. So, kailangan mo nang masilip ng isang government agency yung business na ikakandak mo. Kasi may iba-iba silang, depende sa business na meron ka. For example, fast food or isang maliit na karinderya. Syempre, kailangan mo na i-check nila yung environment, kung gaano kalaki, yung size ng business mo, ganun. Tapos, business registration involves enlisting the enterprise with the proper government agencies and obtaining the necessary permit. Ayan. Obtaining the necessary permit to conduct the business. Kasi kapag halimbawa, lalo na mas mahigpit kasi pag mga fast food, kasi kailangan mas malinis yung environment dun sa loob ng fast food mo. Kasi nga food yung ino-offer mo sa mga customers mo. The entrepreneur, before selecting the form of ownership and registration, it will be with the government agencies concerned, must analyze carefully the advantages and disadvantages of various forms of business organization. The entrepreneur must see for himself the kind of management control and how that business will be able to generate his project profitable investment. Initial business registration. Sa page 142, meron tayo ditong 3 types of business organization, which is yung single proprietorship na meron naman na tayong knowledge dyan before dahil tinakil na yan, and yung mga government agency na dapat nilang pag-registeran. Sa single proprietorship, dito merong Department of Trade and Industries. Then yung function niya is issuance of the certificate of registration of a business. For example, meron akong isang clothing business, clothing line, ganyan. Syempre may name yon. Sa DTI ko siya dapat i-register. Pero before ako mag-run ng isang negosyo, kailangan mo nang i-register natin yung business name. Next naman po is yung partnership or corporation. Ang partnership naman po is as a business structure where people share ownership sa isang business. While yung corporation is an independent organization that has its own legal and financial structure. Tapos, ang government agencies naman po na dapat nilang i-registeran is yung Securities and Exchange Commission. Yung function naman na nakalagay dito sa ating book is issuance of certificate of registration. But nung nag-search ako sa Securities and Exchange Commission, ito yung nagbibigay ng fair dealing and disclosure of important market information and prevent fraud. Last naman po is yung cooperative. Tapos yung agencies naman po dito is yung Cooperative Development Authority. Yung function naman is yung issuance of certificate of regulation. Sa book 143 po, meron tayong government agency for business registration. Number 1 yung municipal or city hall. Yung source naman ito is yung place kung saan ka maglalagay ng business mo. Ang kukuhain naman po natin doon is syempre yung business permit na kailangan ng business mo. Next naman is yung barangay hall. Ganon din po yung source nun kung saan yung business mo. Doon din po sa barangay na yon yung pagkukuhaan mo for barangay clearance. Next naman, meron tayo ditong Philippine Health Insurance Corporation for healthcare system. Next is yung Department of Health, Bureau of Food and Drugs. Siyempre, dun tayo, ito po yung for food, chemicals, health, and related products of business. Meron din po dito Department of Agriculture National Meat Inspection Commission. Ito po yung for mechanical drying meat plant accreditation for meat and meat products. Ito po madalas to kailangan sa mga wet market o yung mga nagtitinda ng mga meats, fish, ganyan. Tapos next po yung Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Ito po yung for pawn shop and lending institution. For example po nito yung Tambunting. Dito sa atin madalas nakikita yan yung Tambunting. Ito po mga agencies na to is depende pa rin po sa business na meron yung isang owner. For example, ang business ko, ayan, for example, meat shop. Kailangan ko pong mag-register sa dito sa Department of Agriculture National Meat Inspection Commission. Ayan, meat plant. Or yung mga nag-aalaga po ng mga babuyan, ganyan. Next naman po is yung Department of Agriculture Bureau of Plant Industries. So, yung registration naman po niya is yung plants products. Yan, for plants products. Next po is DOLE, Philippine Overseas Employment Administration. Recruitment or replacement agencies for foreign employment. Ito mga agencies na po ito, ayun nga po, depende pa rin sa business na meron yung business owners.